this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. I would like to have a little play with my new visible image stamps and stencil today. I have been creating a lot of Christmas videos now for Christmas in July. It is still July, but I thought it's time I do something else. My mojo had gone a little bit actually, so when these arrived in the post today, I thought I'm going to have a play with them. These are from the latest release. I didn't order all the stamps, I never do. I just ordered the dragonflies, this is called Brighter Days. Then the butterflies, this is called Fly High. And the wildflowers stencil that I thought goes really nicely with this. I already have dragonfly stamps and butterflies, but I really like the look of these. I've seen what the design team have done with these, so I thought I'd treat myself. And I think they really go nicely together, and they're easy to fussy cut as well, which I like, especially the butterflies. So I had an idea today when that arrived. I thought I'm not doing a sort of repeat of what I've already seen online, although I will do something similar with a stencil. But for the butterflies, I think I'll do those today rather than the dragonflies. I thought I want to cut these from, or stamp on and cut these from vellum. And when I use vellum, and when I've used vellum in the past and I wanted to colour it, I used alcohol markers. I've got a few videos on my channel already how you do that. So you just apply the alcohol marker, just scribble it over the vellum, spritz it with spirit alcohol, and that diffuses the alcohol. You leave it to dry and then you can stamp on that and die cut from this. But I thought, I bought my alcohol inks last year, so I thought I might just as well use those. So these are from Lavinia Stamps. Any alcohol inks are fine. I've chosen a green, a blue, this is the seaweed ocean blue. I've got a forever white, and I thought I'd throw in some silver thread as well, which I haven't used a lot. This can get messy, so I've got a tray on my desk, I've got some copy paper underneath, and I've got a thick vellum here. Any vellum is fine. This is just the one I got hold of when I opened my drawer. So I'm just applying this on here. I haven't even planned that, as I said, it's just a play today. So I really want to put some ink down. I don't even know how much I need. Let's see what I'm doing. I've even got one of those fancy blow tools. I've never used that, but I'm just doing this. Keep in mind when you use alcohol, I just reminded myself, this does smell quite a bit, so keep pets out of the room ideally. Open the window if you can. I don't, because obviously I'm filming at the moment. So let's go in with this. Quite like the white to diffuse the other colours. So as you can see, I need some more there, but just come in with a silver thread, see what that does. Ooh, that needs a better shake. But it's basically what it is, you know, is the sort of alcohol, that sort of ran there. I don't mind that. I'm not planning this at all. I really want this to happen, but I need more colour there. Coming with the greens. And a little bit with blue again. I don't want to introduce any other colours because I've got plans for the flower meadow, so I think I'll leave it like this. So, but I think what I will do is spritz a little bit of my spirit alcohol. I've got mine, you know, little bottle. So and I think that will move it around as well a little bit. Can you see? Ooh, that looks really cool. So I think I want one little spot of white or silver there. A little bit there as well. And then now I'm leaving this to dry, ideally without inhaling it too much. I could move it about a little bit if I wanted to, but I will just leave this, I think, because I want to stamp on this. And I will stamp on the back, by the way, so I only want this as a background colour, and it will be muted. I'm not quite sure how much I will see of the silver, but you see there, I think it looks quite cool, and I like it. Experimenting and playing like that, if I sort of lost my mojo a little bit, is just great fun to just get back into doing something and being creative. For the card base, I thought I'd try something different, and I decided to work on a dark blue cardstock. I think that it's actually a bit lighter in the camera than it is in real life. And I thought, yeah, I'd try something different, and I dug out my gilding polishes again. These are metallic gilding polishes. They are, I'm not even sure, Creative Expressions they are. So I've got these two blues, one's as a teal and one like a dark blue, and I've also got a green, and they show up really nicely on dark cardstock. And when I just thought about what to apply them with, you can apply them with a brush, I came across these in my drawer. I must have bought them ages ago. I'd forgotten about them. They're little makeup applicators, and I thought I'd just give it a try. And I've also got some packaging here. Rather than me using an acrylic block like I normally would, I thought I might just as well use something that I can dispose of afterwards. You have, by the way, in here, if you need to apply to a bigger area, a sponge like that, but I don't want to use that today. I'm just using this here. And what you need to do, it's like a mousse. You put it on your non-porous surface, and then you give that a little bit of a stir. And you can add some water to it if you want to, but because I'm using a stencil, I think I don't want to add too much water to it. And I'm basically just using the applicator and just see if I can apply it through here. The important thing is, as soon as I've finished with this, I need to wash my stencil and wash this all off before it dries up. So in areas like this, it would probably make sense having a bigger applicator. I think I just dipped in that, didn't I? So I think I'm just going in that direction. I might come in with another colour. Obviously I want the flower heads to be in a different colour. These stencils are really nice. They're really solid, so I love working with them. So I'm just going up to here, but obviously the colours will overlap, so if I go a little bit over, it doesn't matter. Also got these little dots in here, but I'm thinking about adding some splatter afterwards anyway, so just need to make sure I'm covering all the areas. So I think you've seen the technique. I'm going to do the same for the flowers. I think I'll do a mix of both of these colours, so have a little bit of shading going on. And then I will quickly do the reveal and put that stencil in the wash. So for the flowers, as planned, I used some dark blue on one side and the teal on the other side, and I used more of a dabbing motion rather than brushing it on like that. So I just said, as I said, to quickly do the reveal, hoping it hasn't leaked. No, that's fine. I've got a bit of texture on the edge there with the flowers. It's probably because it was a very thick application, but you can see how well the paste shows up. So I'm just leaving that to dry. I think it's okay with the texture. I even contemplated whether I want to come back in with a stencil afterwards and add some stickers over the top, so I don't mind a bit of texture there. So this can go in the bin. That will quickly be soaked. Oh, and before I forget, when you put your gilding polishes away, before you put the lid on, spritz it a little bit with water, and that keeps the paste really, really moist. It's about an hour later, and this panel here with the alcohol inks has dried really nicely. Maybe a little bit sticky here in the middle, and the silver has run really nicely. What I'd forgotten about this, because I think before I said I'm going to use the back of this, but this is really thick vellum, so you can't see a lot there. So I think I will actually stamp on the front. So, and at first I thought I'd use my stamping platform, but I think I'll just give it a try like this. I've got plenty of space, so if I don't get a very good impression, then that's okay. But because I'm stamping on the silver as well, I will use some archival ink. This is a little bit better because it's permanent and waterproof, better than the VersaFine Clear, which also works, but it will sort of bead probably a little bit more on the silver here. So I'm inking this up thoroughly, and I'm just want to place them randomly. Try not to slip with them, although the archival ink is actually quite good. I'm lifting this up. I get this sort of greyish look where I'm on the silver, but I'm okay with that at the moment. I will do a few little ones on the areas where there's not silver this time. I did slip, and then yeah, I've got quite a bit of an edge there because I slipped, so I need to be mindful when I'm pressing down that I'm holding this down. Having said that, this the way this is designed is fairly thick on the edges anyway. This, by the way, that's the smallest one, and this is the medium stamp. I didn't want to do the big one, so I'm having one more of this size. Trying to go into the areas that don't have too much silver on them. I think this is where this one sort of was a bit of a problem, and if I've got any of this left, I can always use it for a different project, but I slipped again, so I'm just doing one more here, and yeah, that's a little bit better. I just want to show you this, and then I will do the bigger one off camera. So it's a bit greyish here where I've got the silver underneath, but that's okay. So I will do the same with this one here. The archival ink needs to dry a little bit, not too much, but I will then fussy cut this off camera, and because I'm due to play a pub quiz in 15 minutes, I think I will continue this card tomorrow morning. For you, obviously, it's only a few seconds. It is admittedly quite a few days later. I have done a tiny bit of crafting off camera yesterday. I was a bit of a hurry, but then I couldn't stay away from my craft desk. So after the panel had dried, I went in with a stencil again, and I used some stickles. This is the Stardust, and just applied that over the flowers, so I've got a bit of shimmer and glitter there. And then I went in with this silver watercolor, watercolor paint. I just diluted that a little bit with water, and then used a brush to spritz this all over my panel. I actually had written myself a note to remind me to leave some space for a sentiment where I didn't want them, but I forgot. So I went ahead and just now, before I switched the camera on, I stamped this sentiment here. This is from the Dragonfly stamp set. Have a beautiful birthday. Just on the same cardstock is actually the back of the sprinkled one. And he'd embossed that in white, so this can go at the bottom here now, and then that gives me enough space for the butterflies at the top. My original thought was to have it at the top, but either is fine, obviously. I have cut down the panel to match my shopboard cardstock here, so the panel is just under 5 7/8 square, so that fits on there nicely. I was wondering whether I wanted a white border, but that's why I chose the white embossing powder, and I think that the white embossing powder pops and then ties in with the frame. I have gone ahead also and cut out some of the butterflies, just 3 of the smaller ones and 1 of the big ones. The big ones are actually quite big, so I wasn't quite sure whether I will actually use that or whether I just sort of use it at the bottom here. I have cut off the bums of the butterflies. I didn't bother about that, but the rest was easy to cut out, especially because my vellum is thicker, so it cuts like paper, and I managed to cut round the feelers there. So, and as I said before, I chose this because it's an easy shape to cut out. So all I need to do now is to, oh, before I forget that, this sentiment strip, I cut it with my guillotine and then I used my corner rounder. I sometimes find this is a nicer look than having harsh edges. So all I need to do now is to stick this all down, and I will speed the footage up for that. So I've stuck everything down. This one wants to fold up a little bit, so I hope the footage, although I sped it up, you could see that in the footage. I've only put glue on the center and on the feelers here of the butterfly. I've got a bit of excess of glue here, but it will mostly dry clear. So I've been trying to take that off here with my silicone tip. But yeah, I will leave this to dry, and obviously the wings will fold flat in the envelope, but they sort of hopefully will pop open a little bit again once it's taken out the card. And I decided against the big one. I think this is a little bit too big, so I just went for the 3 here. I think that's better than having too many. And I do like that when they fly in different directions, and I like the bit of space here at the above for this one to fly to as well. So yeah, I think that's a nice little project. I like the shimmer on the with the alcohol inks here on the wings, but in hindsight it wasn't that easy to stamp on that. So if you want any shimmer on the wings, I suggest you apply that after you've done the stamping. But yeah, I think this is a nice little project. I really enjoy working with these stamps and the stencil, and I'm sure I find many more uses for these stamp sets and the stencil. So yeah, check out my future videos for visible image, and if you like this one, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and also might want to subscribe to my channel and share the video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video.